Hi and welcome to Pools and Pencils Art. This is part one of our festive mini tutorials, and I thought I'd start off on a smaller scale little project. So we're kicking off our tutorial sessions with the fox eye, and I've already transferred my line art over using transfer paper. I put some instructions in the PDF, downloadable PDF, to show you how to do that. Other ways you can do it is you can flip the reference photo, the line art over, colour on heavily on the back with a graphite pencil, and then place it down and then draw over the line art to transfer the graphite over. So there's a couple of options available for you. So I'm doing it on white pastel mat. And for those of you who aren't familiar with pastel mat, it's a grainy type of surface, clearly for like pastels, but also it works absolutely fabulous for colour pencils. So I've written the materials list down for you. I'm using polychromos pencils because they tend to be the ones that most people have access to. If you don't have them, then you can, whatever colour pencils that you do have, just match it up to the nearest one. It doesn't need to be exactly the same as mine, but just it's all about sort of colouring and taking part. So what we're going to start off with is the white. So I have glassine paper, so if you're not familiar with this, it comes in with the pastel mat pads, and you can also buy it separately as well. And what I tend to do, and a lot of artists do, is we lean on it so that we don't lift off any of the line art, and we don't make the paper dirty or smudge anything. So I've got my pencil sharpener. Probably don't need to sharpen it at the moment, and we're just going to go in circular movements with the pencil. You're not going to see much at this stage with it because we're doing it on a light surface. Actually, I'm going to go across with all of it, and you'll be able to tell if you're using pastel mat. You'll be able to tell that this is quite a rough surface until you start adding more and more layers. But you shouldn't go in too heavily. You should use a light pressure to it. If you're not using this and you're using the sketch paper, it's not going to take as many layers. But again, just to sort of adjust the pressure so that it's lighter, so that you can add more layers to it. And you can buy pastel mat anywhere online, Amazon, other online stores. You can also get them in some art shops as well. Okay, so this is the highlight of the eye that we're working on first. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to add in some sky blue around here, and I'm just doing a round circular movement here, and we do that so that we can blend our colours seamlessly, so it's not so much of a you don't get so many like streaks or anything with it. And you can see it's quite grainy on this surface. You can see the tooth of the paper coming through. I like doing eye studies. You've got so many different sort of types and different colours, and yeah, and I think it's a good thing to sort of do practice studies on with eye studies on different animals and different parts of the body, like eyes, nose, ears, that kind of a thing. Fur studies, because then you can put everything together that you've learned into like future projects. So it doesn't all come down to there totally. It's got some like grey and like a pale browny colour in there. And if you're not familiar with colour pencil drawing, then you'll actually find this. You'll find that eventually you'll be able to see different colours when you're looking at things. So I find that when I'm out and about, I see objects and then I, sort of think, oh, what pencils would I use for that? And it's sort of, you find quite a lot of people find that they do that. So I'm going in with the dark indigo. So it's like a really deep blue, purpley blue. So I'm just adding detail around here. And what I'm going to do, because lights over darks works really well on pastel mat, I'm just going in with the white again, just to sort of blend it a bit. And again, just that round circular movement with the pencil. You'll also find, as well, if you're not familiar with colour pencils, is the fact that it can go through an ugly stage, and you'll want to tap out and start again, but just don't do that. Stick with it and you'll find it just suddenly just comes together. So at the moment we've just got like this blue smudge, but it's not until you put other colours in there for context that you'll see it start coming together. Just going to add some more of the sky blue, very lightly on top. And I'm just going to go in with a bit of the dark indigo. And what I tend to do is add layers in, and then when I think it's had enough for the moment, I tend to stop, add colours in around it, and then you'll find that you know what colours you'll need to sort of balance it all up. Right, okay, so I'm going to leave that bit for there. So I'm just going to take the black and going to go in and do the pupil, so it's that slit there. And again, we have to go in lightly for this because we want to build layers, and just in case we don't want to flatten the tooth of the paper, we want to be able to go in and add colour later if needed. So what I want to do is just briefly sharpen the pencil, and I just want to go round this bit because it's quite dark. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep adding layers. So we just want to lightly add layers so that that tooth disappears. And I'm just going to go in and add some more layers around here. So it's not a line as such, we're just like sketching it in. Okay. Next, we're going to start adding colours to the around the iris. So what I want to do is use the sanguine, which is that colour, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of like a pinky orangey brown. It's a really lovely colour. And what I want to do is just go over some of these lines here. Not all of them, just some of them. Okay, and I'm just going to go in with the raw umber because I want to do the same around here as well. Actually, that one's raw umber as well. It doesn't sort of like have to be perfect. I just want you to sort of like see how we add colours, looking out for like different colour profiles, and just seeing that, you know, when you see an eye, it's just, or any surface, it's not all the same colour. Actually, just get a walnut brown. It's a build up of all different colours. Right. So I'm going to go in with burnt ochre. So that's like an orangey brown. And I'm just going to go in and add that into the iris. And around here as well. Around here is going to be darker, but I just want to use this as a base layer. So remember, round circular motion with the pencil, and you see I'm holding it far up. I'm just going to go in with all of this. And then what I'm going to do is just add loads of like the darker colours on top, and just keep sort of blending and mixing the colours. And if you find your pencil's getting flat, you can just twist it, because what we're essentially doing is we're using the side of the lead. Okay, just want to go in with the sanguine around here. Yeah, just around here. So I'm just kind of like plotting in the colours at the moment. Okay, I just want to go in lightly with some white. And this is just blending and mixing our colours together. Again, it's that light over dark principle that I mentioned just now. And this is like just like adds a glaze to it. Be careful that you don't go into that black because it'll make the colours dirty. Right, just want to go in with some raw umber. So I'm just cutting in around here. Again, using the side of the pencil. Just coming up to some of those lines that we drew in just now. And just coming in around here. What I want to do is add some of the black in so that we can just see where we're at with that. So we've got a light bit in there. So again, we just want to layer that up. Remember, don't sort of press too firmly. We're just going to keep adding the layers until we fill in that tooth. Okay, and we've got, let me just come over here. So it's dark coming in there. And I'm just going to go in with the dark sepia under here. I'm just sort of plotting a few things in at the moment. So we've got that. I just want to come up there. just going to go in with the walnut brown, just to give a small bit of context around here. So it looks a bit mad at the moment, but that's absolutely fine. Just going to get a grey. Yeah, that's fine. I've got a cold grey 4 here, and I just want to sort of mark that bit in around here. We'll be adding other sort of colours to it, but I just want to sort of mark out around the eye. And then we can sort of continue where we're at. Just a bit around here. So it looks a bit messy at the moment, but that's fine. We'll be going over that at some point. Let's just go back in with the black. Okay, and yeah, that needs to come down a bit more as well. So let me just get in with that raw umber. So we're just adding this layer in now. So this is what I mean about it going through a messy stage. It's where you're plotting all the colours. Actually, that needs to be cold grey as well. And this will, all the colours will make sense once we've added them all in. So again, you can see that I'm not pressing hard with this. And again, I'm just using the side of the pencil. Right, I'm going to go in with the walnut brown. Because it needs to be darker around the pupil. And around here. You want to make sure that the colour goes all the way up, because generally what can happen is if you don't go all the way up to each colour, you'll end up leaving like a halo of white, and then that sort of takes away from your sort of wonderful drawings that you've done. Right, I'm just going to work in around here. Now we don't tend to do eyes this big when we're doing our normal animal portraits, but this is just a study to show you how the eye looks and the colours that you'll probably end up using. Usually I'd turn my page round, but I'm sort of keeping it here just for your benefit so that you can see what I'm doing. So you can see it's beginning to sort of like, you can see more colour coming through now. We're blending a lot of our colours together. And you can see it's darker at the top. And to give that more context, I'm going to go in with the black again around here. But I'm going to go in, I think, with the dark sepia, because that's like a lovely sort of browny black. And just right at the sides here, it's darker. Let me just go in with the grey on that part. And then I'm just going to sharpen the white. And then that sort of gives that line there. I'm just going to go up to that line a bit more with the black. Right, okay, back to the dark sepia. I'm just going to be adding, because the fur is darker around the eye, I just want to sort of add that in so we have that context. And I'm just going to use the walnut brown on top to give it a bit of warmth. And I'm just going to add some in here as well. But I also want to go in with the caput mortuum, which is like a burgundy browny colour. I tend to use this a lot in my animal drawings. It's a lovely colour. You also have the caput mortuum violet as well. You can see it sort of gradually coming together here. Right. Okay, and I'm just going in with the walnut brown again. And we'll sort this out more a bit later once we've done the eye, but I just needed to sort of show you for context how this is all looking. Back with the dark sepia. Because then by going with the walnut brown, it sort of comes down in here slightly. And again, you can see I'm still using that round circular movement with the pencil. I'm just bringing some down into the blue. Okay, and I'm just putting some caput mortuum violet in the corner here. Right. Okay. So this is the black. So I know I've left the eye a bit, but I just want to do the surrounding part. Actually, there's a bit there. And this is the cold grey 4. And just go in with the black again. Okay. And it looks like that that grey just comes into the bottom here a bit. Okay, So dark sepia. So all of these tutorials that we're doing represents some of the things that we do in the main membership. So we have focus studies, which is what this would come under. We have nature studies, so that's what the fir cone's going to come under. And we have our main monthly animal tutorial, and the robin is representative of that. Now we did a robin a year ago, slightly bigger than the one that's in this project, so you'll have access to that as well, as part of the main animal tutorials. So this is just like taster sessions for you. So I'm going very lightly still with the pressure. Right, I just want to come in with the white again on this part. And again, roundish movements. I just want to come in with the nougat. So I've got this in a pencil extender at the moment because the pencil's quite tiny. And if you're not familiar with pencil extenders, this actually prolongs the life of the pencil. So you'll find, again, if you're new to doing this kind of artwork, that you'll find that you'll be using a lot of browns, greys, blacks, white. There'll be some certain colours that you'll be using a lot of. So with these, with polychromos, they're open stock, so that means you can buy them individually. And in the resource library, I've put a link to where you can actually get them at the cheapest, and the customer service is absolutely great with the person who does it. Right, dark sepia along there. So we're just, again, same pressure, and we're just building up the layers and the colour. Sit back in with the nougat. So I'm just going around the lighter parts as well. Okay, so around there. So when you do a study like on a cat's eye, for example, and at the time of filming this, I'm actually working one on it at the moment, you'll see the different colours that in them, and the cat's eye that I'm filming it's incredible, the colours that you can see in the eye. Right. Actually, sorry, back in with the nougat. So I just keep seeing bits and pieces there. Just have a look to see what patterns you can see in the eye. Right. Just want to go in with the white. And again, going in there lightly. Takes a lot of patience to do this, but it's worth it when you see the results. And just add the layer of white in the direction that the eyeball is going, so that you get you don't get streaks or anything. I just want to go in and add a bit more black around here. Right, I want to go in and add a bit more of the cold grey 4 around here. And then back in with the black. I can see a layer of dark indigo in there as well. So I'm just going to go in with that, and then we can go on top of that. And you can see adding the colours around it is adding all that context. and you can see that this dark indigo looks totally different on top of the cold grey 4, and that's why we sort of blend colours, because on their own they can look so flat, but when you actually mix them they can be a bit more vibrant and also add depth to your drawing. Okay, I'm just going to do this bit in the corner here, so I'm going to go in with the sky blue. I just want that to go a bit, actually, yeah, like that. Okay. And just go in and add a few more layers. Remember, try not to go into the black. I'm just going to add a layer of white. So this kind of like blends in together. And then we're going to go in with some dark indigo. Okay, so this is the dark indigo. Actually, let me just go in with the black. And that bit's a bit thicker there. Let me just mark in some grey, because I can see some grey around here. Right, and what we'll do is finish off the eyeball in a moment. So this is dulling down that blue a bit. Okay, let's get back in with that eyeball. So dark sepia. So I'm just bringing out some shapes around here, because you can see some lines coming in from the edges. And then they're kind of like just mainly at the sides, the edges. Need to sort that pupil out. So we just need to sort of blur the edges of that a bit. Just going to go in with the burnt ochre a bit around here. And then I want to add a bit of white. Right, walnut brown. And I want to make these bits richer. So this is the sanguine. So it's quite light around here. It's a beautiful rich colour. So we're just going to bring it in around here as well. We've still got some tooth going on here. And of course we're coming in around this part as well. Got to make that bit darker in a moment. We've got to get some warmth around here. Right, so raw umber coming out from here. And we have to go careful that we don't take it, overwork it and take it too far, because it'll end up muddy looking. So that in there needs to come out a bit more. And of course some of these colours are going to be used in the fox's fur as well. Right, we'll leave the eye like that at the moment, because what I want to do is finish off around here. So right, so I'm just going to use the black So when you're doing this part, just go careful you don't go in the eye itself. I'm going to be using the white in a moment just to sort of mark out around there. So we're just creating a darker line here. Just want to sort of straighten it up around here a bit. Okay. So this also, with the colours that we've added underneath this also changes the black slightly as well. Okay, let's just go in there. The white. And in around there as well. And again, we've been going for about an hour now, and this is basically what, you know, what we've created, and you know, look how good it's looking. Right, just going to go in with the cold grey 4. And then what we'll do is we'll start going in with the fur, and then we'll see what we need to do at the end. So we've got lots of lovely, wonderful colours, you know, with the fur. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Caput Mortuum Violet. So I'm just going to sort of block colours in. what we want to do is we're just adding layers to this and then just sort of building them up. So I'm just starting off with the darker layers for the moment. And walnut brown. That's just going through that part. Okay, and just gonna go in with some sanguine. Got some nice blocks of sanguine around here. And then just sort of keep looking at the direction that the fur is going in. So it looks a bit scribbly at the moment, but it starts taking place as you add in more layers. I absolutely love doing it like this. Now there's different ways of like blending the the fur and the colours together. I will just show you because I will just show you the basic way. But there is another really good way, and it's using Zest It, which is odourless mineral spirit. Right. Just going to go in with some terracotta. So again, we're just adding it through here. Got some nice rich parts around here as well. So again, we've got that messy look, which is great because then we know how it's going to look. And look how the eye is standing out now. And I'm going to go in with some burnt ochre. I also want to add ivory if I can find it. I'll have a look at that in a moment, but this is burnt ochre, so we've got the warmth coming through. So yeah, if you notice, I've got the tape there. It's just so that I can have a border. So this is giving it some more warmth. Some more up there. We are going to go in and add some more layers. Right, let me just see if I can find an ivory. Yep, I found one. Okay. So I'm just going in here with this, and then I'll go over the top of it. Just keep looking at the way that the fur is going. I'm just going to go in with the sanguine again. Let's try a bit of nougat in, actually no. Going to go in with some raw umber. Right, okay, so I've got that bit in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in some more layers. So I'm going to go in with the sanguine. I just want to sort of make it a bit tidier and just go in over the top because we've got layers left. Just going to go in some white. I'm going to break up some of that a moment. Right, I'm just going to go in with some walnut brown. I think I might sort of adding a point onto this. Oh, it's not doing that again. Right, just going to use my electric sharpener. Much better. Right. So this is where I sort of start adding like the finer detail. And we don't have to spend too much time on the fur because it's the eye that's the study. So basically we're just building up colour and texture now. But what we could have done is at the end of that first layer is when we could have done painted on the odorless mineral spirit OMS. But that's what we're doing in the cat's eye tutorial. So what it does is it adds a painterly layer to it. And then you can, once it dries, you can go over the top of it and colour pencil again. Just go in with a bit of caput mortuum. Don't know if I can sharpen that in there. Oh, actually I can, it's just tall enough or long enough. So what we're doing here is we're just flicking the pencil, not sort of colouring. We just want that you know, the fur look to it. Walnut brown. going to go in with terracotta, and I'm actually going to try and find a longer one. No, that's sanguine. Yes, terracotta. Right. Okay, just going to use my electric sharpener. Okay. So I just want to add a lovely warm rich colour to that, and just sort of pay attention to where the direction of that fur is. And then that mixes in through there. I just want a bit of the caput mortuum to come through there as well. And there's a bit more darkness coming in there. Okay, back to the terracotta. So around here you've got more like browns and sanguine coming in there. So I'm just going to carry on around here with the terracotta. I'm just adding some more warmth. We do have a lot more sanguine coming through. I'm just going to gradually sort of just add a few bits through here as well. I will add some of the warmth coming through, but there we go. And I'll do some coming through here. I mean, I just love doing this. It's, you know, when you sort of got your layers in and you're just adding, you know, more detail on top just to sort of bring it to life. It's really relaxing. So of course where we've got the ivory around here, this comes out a bit lighter. Right, I'm going to go in with the sanguine now. Right, so I'm just going to come in around here. So you can really sort of see it coming together. Right, just gonna go over the top here. I think foxes have got such beautiful markings and colour, and they are one of my favourite animals. Right, just want to go in with raw umber. Let me just see if I can get this to sharpen. Yep, perfect. Just want to add some brown. So of course this part's going to be like where the bridge of the nose is, going into the forehead. So although this is a slightly different colour to what's on the screen, that's absolutely fine. It's creative license. And you don't have to have the exact same colour. Right, just need the walnut brown. Okay, that should be darker. around there. And definitely around here. Right, just adding in around here as well. Just adding because it's got like a darker bit coming around here. So this is how we're getting in all of our layers at the moment. Right, just want to sharpen the burnt ochre. Right, just bringing some bits and pieces up here. Right, just want to go in with the ivory on top of that because it's a bit lighter. And just around here. And just over here as well. So I'm just burnishing some of it, and what I'll do is I'll go through and just pick out some bits where I can add some bit more texture into it. Okay, right, so the layer of the ivory has really added to that. It's going to go in with a bit of burnt ochre to add in some warmth. And some sanguine. Let's make it a bit richer up here. It's a bit sort of darker under here, so I want some walnut brown. And just a bit more up here, I think. And then I'll just add a bit of terracotta in as well. And I'm going to blend this in a bit as well with some more walnut brown, I think. I mean, you could spend so much time doing this, and you know, it really is tempting to do that, but this, you know, the eye itself was the study. And you'll find, as I keep saying, if you're new to this, you'll find you'll just keep wanting to add more and more, and you can go ahead by all means, continue to sort of add some more layers, because it just gets better and better each time you add something in. And you know, you can see that I'm having trouble stopping. I'm just gonna add some dark fur into there. And like I said, just go careful that you don't overcook it and it's a bit sanguine again, you know, and make it muddy. Right, I think I'm going to call this done. Right, so let's just take the tape off. Oh. That's one. Two. Three. Four. And there you have it. So if you want to sign it, you can sign it. And it's November 25. And so what you can do is you can keep your artwork, and then you can 6 months down the line you can sort of see how far you've progressed, you know, with your artwork. So let's just zoom out. Oh, it's not letting me. That's fine. Okay, and what we'll do is leave it there, and I will see you in the next tutorial, which will be the fir cone.